Let's just have a little conversation about the moon. The moon's interesting in astrology because in terms of forecasts, in terms of just by transit, it tends to get sort of neglected because it moves so quickly through a sign and it covers all 12 signs in a month. It's a luminary. It's a feminine luminary. Um, it corresponds to emotion, our intuition, our instincts, sort of our inner world and how we need to feel at a base level. What we're dropping into and where we need to come home to within ourselves to find, a place of peace and groundedness. So that's the moon. Internal security. That's what it is. So the moon, it's very, the aspects can be pretty predictable. You know that every month we have, Pluto making certain aspects to outer planets because they don't change signs very often. The inner planets for the moon and their aspects are more significant um, because, say the moon um, sextile Venus or square Mars or whatever. So it's more of a more significant in terms of the individual months and transits of the moon for those inner planets, as opposed to the outer planets because it repeats itself over and over and over again. Um, but for the context of this particular week, the moon's going to be in Leo, so it makes it really fun. Now we're feeling very dynamic. Let's get out and have a party and wear red. And it's really a time where we're really thinking about our identity and how we want to show up in the world. Do we feel appreciated? Um, and creative expression is another part of the moon in the sign of Leo, and that's going to be on June 20. I'm looking away from the camera. June 21st and then 22nd of this year. Then we move to so the moon's going to be in Cancer. Before then, on June 18th through the 20th. And so the moon rules Cancer, so thinking about nurturing, taking care of family, emotionally connecting with others, mother energy, where we're feeling really emotional. It's a really yummy, positive, calming, soothing energy. Um, it's very relaxing and it really feels good when the moon is in Cancer. Then we move forward a couple days later to the 23rd of June through the 25th, and that's when the moon is in Virgo. So now it's much more concerned about the practical things that we need to do in our lives, the chop wood carry water things that we need to do. Do this. What do we need to do? Especially in relation to nutrition and healing and taking care of the body, because Cancer especially rules the breath and it rules food and nurturing. So thinking about what are we putting in our body, how are we feeding our body, how are we nutritionally healthy. So those are transits, and there's more of a nervous energy, more of a neurotic energy when the moon's in Virgo. And I also think it can lend itself to being very critical at worst and very nervous. But also, Cancer and Virgo at worst can complain and judge the situation and get caught in the negativity of the things that they need to do for taking care of the house or taking care of the kids or whatever practical tasks, Virgo, that you need to do around the home. Cancer. So making sure that they are doing the self-care for the people who have Sun in Cancer, Moon in Virgo, or the reverse, Sun in Virgo, Moon in Cancer, self-care, anything that puts them in the present moment, anything that helps them see the silver lining and helps them embrace and feel very positively and with give that willingness, that desire to care, to nurture, to be of service, because that's that thing with Virgo, because it's service. So whatever puts those people in that place, in that state of mind, where they feel like they genuinely want to give, as opposed to being a martyr to their circumstances. So that's the downside with that Moon in Virgo this week. So I may or may not just include this in the weekly forecast because, let's not forget the moon. The moon in, without going in depth, this is where I get into astrological jargon. So for the moon in Cancer, it is going to, it's going to semi-square Mercury. It is going to semi-square Venus and Mars. It is going to sextile Jupiter, trine Pisces. It's going to sextile Uranus, trine Neptune, and then at the very end of the moon in Cancer, it'll form an opposition to Pluto at the 29th degree, which could be, more emotional intensity, more, you're thinking more powerful emotions coming to the surface, and also deals with revealing the shadows. Within the shadows are secrets, the deeper material that we need to dig up and do that shadow work on ourselves. The moon in Leo is going to sextile. By the way, that moon in Gemini is going to also semi-square the sun. So the moon in Leo is going to also semi-square the sun. It's going to sextile Mercury. It's going to form a conjunction to Venus and Mars and Leo individually. It is going to square Jupiter. It's going to quincunx Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, square Uranus and Taurus. It's also going to quincunx Neptune, and it's also going to quincunx Pluto. And then, involving the lunar nodes and tying that into, all those kind of things. And then the moon in Virgo is, and this is where we get into some, details. So, the moon in Virgo is going to form a square to Mercury in Gemini. It's going to sextile the sun. It's going to semi-square Venus and Mars. It's going to trine Jupiter, oppose Saturn and Pisces. It is going to trine Uranus, oppose Neptune, and at the very end, it's going to trine Pluto. So that is just a general run-through of the moon. It's more of a, the moon is more of a backdrop of what is going on, sort of that, we have the props of whatever play or performance that we're watching, and whatever we're viewing is what I talk about for, the meat of what I talk about, which is this full moon, or Mercury's changing signs, or this aspect is happening between Mars and Uranus. All those kind of things that are not, so, repetitive and predictable, just like the moon. And that gets too nitty gritty, that gets too into the details, and that's where I don't want to, too into the minutiae, and we lose sight of the important things. So I don't want to throw this thing over here, this thing over there. It's so much information, it's so much going on. I'm not going to throw out every single thing that's going to be happening this week astrologically, because that would be way too much. You can't do that. So It's just sort of setting up the mood, and the scenes. So, yeah, that's your sort of lunar basic run through for the week of June 18th, 2023. By the way, I would highly recommend you to go check out the weekly horoscope. And I'm also breaking down little individual videos from that video, so that if you want to hear the astrological events that I talk about separately, then I break those down. I probably won't always do that because it sort of defeats the purpose why I make the weekly videos, is for it all to be in that one video and not separately. But but anyway, I may do it. I may clip sections off of that video, um, and I will also be making a video on the South Node in Leo, North Node Aquarius placement in the natal birth chart, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. And because that video is going to premiere, and I'm gonna maybe I'll premiere that video tomorrow. I'll prepare and create that video tomorrow. There's also going to be another video which is just an audio recording with music over it. And the theme for each of the individual songs that I chose from the YouTube editing studio, which I edited into this video, are all related to flowers. Anything having to do with flowers, anything that involves or relates to flowers. So that's that little announcement. And yeah, so happy new moon in Gemini, happy Father's Day, and yeah, so yeah, and every month also provides an opportunity for you to have a lunar return. So this is when the moon comes back to the exact position, the exact degree, the exact place that it is in your natal chart. Okay, so that is it for now. Bye, everybody, and I will see you in another video.